I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's AfterBuzz TV, and we are coming to you live from all across this big old globe. And have we got a show for you? We're gonna chat all about the craziness that was AEW Dynamite. But before we get started, allow me to introduce the amazing people I get to work with today. First up, she is the wrestling fashionista with all the ins and outs of the runway herself. Ladies and gentlemen, she's back. It's Jessica O'Connor.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you. It's an honor. I don't know where that accent came from, but we're going to go with it.
But you're running with it the rest of the show. And And also, we have the indie darling herself, finding out all the amazing wrestlers you don't realize you're going to love in the years to come. As always, it is Anissa Barr.
Yay! I'm back. I'm excited. This episode was amazing. I'm ready to talk about it.
And tonight, we got a special guest star. He's been blowing it up amongst all the wrestling pundits here at AfterBuzz TV, and we get to have who's sure to be the Rookie of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Cedric Welton.
Thank you for having me, guys. Look forward to talking this episode. A lot to talk about.
Absolutely. We also got in the booth, as always. Let's hear it for the King of the Bing Bang and Boom. Let's hear it for Rye Guy.
The King of the Big Bang and Boom. Oh my goodness. Yes, guys, excited to hear about AEW TNT Dynamite.
And I am your benevolent host. They call me Fancy Jack Farmer. And I think we should just dive right into it because it was a cracking episode. Overall thoughts, Cedric, I'll let you take it away. First up, overall thoughts of this episode.
Man, I thought we touched all the bases. I love seeing Cody and Archer go at it. Jake the Snake's promo was kind of cringe, but I think that's what we're going for. And I you know what? I love the subtleties in AEW. I love seeing Britt Baker on the outside with the glove just for safety reasons, with her submission on Chris Statlander. That was awesome.
Yeah. And Anissa, what'd you think?
I thought it was a really good episode. Sammy Guevara, we know your neck is not broken. I saw your vlog the other day. You're totally fine. Relax. The drama.
You're not supposed to spoil it, Anissa. Jessica, how'd you feel about this episode?
I was excited about this one. I feel like this is the first episode that we've seen in quite some time that kind of gave us a semblance of what we're used to. It felt it was a live show, so it felt kind of like the energy that we've come to know. So I'm excited. I feel like we're easing our way. I don't want to jinx it, like maybe back towards some normalcy, maybe. I don't know. But it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I have some comments and thoughts on that as well that we'll talk about later. That's a tease, ladies and gentlemen. But I thought that this felt like a go-home show to me. We got another week left, but this felt like a show that you would do before the big pay-per-view. Lots of crazy shenanigans, lots of interference today. But the thing that stood out to me the most, the craziest thing, Colt Cabana was wearing an Insane Clown Posse shirt. That felt weird, right? Am I crazy?
I feel like that's kind of on brand for him, actually.
I'm digging it.
I feel like that fits right in.
I don't know. For some reason, I was like, I wouldn't have guessed that. I wouldn't have picked that he's a fan of that. But someone who I'm a fan of, and someone who I think everyone should be a fan of, is Brodie Lee and the Dark Order. They closed out the show tonight with a battle with SCU and Christopher Daniels. Now, this one was a bit bigger of a match than I think they really built it towards, because if we all recall, a few months ago, Christopher Daniels was rumored to be the Exalted One. Jessica, let's have you start this off. What do you think about seeing Brodie Lee in one of his first real matches against the veteran Christopher Daniels tonight?
I think they're definitely building him up to be a competitor. I mean, his size alone is scary, but also he has a really good presence. He has a great, like, intimidating demeanor. When he walks in, you're kind of just like, oh God, like this isn't gonna be good. He's scary. He's convincing. So I think they're sending him down a path. We'll see where that path goes.
So the path today took him against Christopher Daniels. Now, Anissa, Christopher Daniels is one of your boys. How'd you feel about him coming up on the short end of things tonight?
Despite the fact that he lost, let's talk about his performance in the ring. Christopher Daniels is not getting any younger. He's doing this for almost 30 years and he still can move. And I was very shocked and impressed on him doing the little high fly stuff, the legs on the rope and doing a moonsault. That really, I was like, oh my God, he can still do it. Because we haven't really seen Daniels perform in quite some time. But overall, this match was so decent. You really brought Brodie Lee out to show everybody, hey, this is Brodie Lee, this is his style, and he's here.
I think it says a lot that Brodie Lee took a chair shot and an Angel's Wings and kicked out at one. That's a big move, and that's a big thing to get through. Cedric, I want to ask you this. There's been some clamoring on Twitter, some people who are upset. They feel like Brodie Lee got forced into the world title picture and that maybe it's a little too quick for him. Do you feel that way? Do you think Brodie Lee feels like a legitimate world title contender at this point in his AEW run?
I think you can make that same argument for Mox from months ago, really. I mean, when you got a guy that has the work rate, can I say Luke Harper? Can't say that? That has the work rate of Brodie Lee, that you got to use it. And it showed tonight. When you have a guy like him wrestle like Daniels, a good dancing partner, you get to see his full style. We've always known that Lee can go. I think it's the perfect move, especially when you have this Dark Order organization backing him up. It's a perfect challenger for Mox. I don't think it's too early at all.
I got to agree with you because I think it's funny. Sometimes people are just never happy. Like when a guy like Brodie Lee gets put into that spotlight, everyone says it's too fast. It happened too quickly. But then when you've got Kenny Omega, who is taking some time to get there, everyone goes, oh, how come they're not using him? Why is he in the mid card? He's not what he used to be. Are we sometimes just fickle? Do we just not? Anissa, can wrestling fans just not be happy sometimes?
Yeah,
all the time.
We got to build the brand.
It's so much more fun to complain.
They've been complaining the past couple of weeks. Come on, but I'm not complaining because I'm enjoying what AEW is putting on every single week, and it's awesome entertainment and great wrestlers and great matches.
Something I really liked about this match is Brodie Lee went outside and he went face to face with SCU, and I've said for a while now, I believe that Scorpio Sky is going to be an AEW World Champion sooner rather than later. I've predicted it. It's going to happen. But
Jack's predictions are always right, guys.
Yeah, I've never been wrong about a prediction. I've always been correct. Cedric, you don't know this about me. I have a perfect prediction record. There's a little asterisk here and there,
It's borderline psychic at this point. Yeah.
But they're always right. I like seeing SCU take the offense and go after the Dark Order first, really, in this match. Jessica, did you like seeing the more aggressive nature of SCU, or do you think that made them seem kind of like jerks?
No, I'm with you on this one, actually. I mean, they're definitely portrayed as these good, like, all-American, Southern California group of guys, but they got some street to them for sure. They're not afraid. They could take them. Yeah, I'm with you. It was fun.
Yeah. So the big news of the match, obviously, is at the end, a guy by the name of Jon Moxley comes walking out to the ring, and he is none too happy with Brodie Lee wearing his championship belt, as always, because he is Anissa's favorite wrestler. Anissa, walk us through it.
Yeah, Jon Moxley is my favorite wrestler, Cedric. Just letting you know. Okay. So don't go after him.
Be careful.
Be careful what you say. No, this is something that I mentioned here on our after show that I wanted to see because they do have history. Brodie Lee and Jon Moxley, CCW, back in the day, in 2008, 7-ish. And, the matches that Jon likes to be in is something that I enjoy, but some things not people enjoy. But I'm wondering if we're going to get a regular match or we're just going to get another Jon Moxley deathmatch style match. Because Brodie Lee in the past has done deathmatch wrestling, but not as much as Jon. But I like to see how this is going to go because Jon is the lone wolf. And here we have Brodie Lee with his Dark Order, minion people, little people. So, I mean, I'm for Jon Moxley.
Cedric, you mentioned Jon Moxley earlier. What are your thoughts on the champ? Do you buy him as a scary, kind of wild, off the rails champion, or do you still see Dean Ambrose?
No, I definitely don't see Dean Ambrose, but I see little sprinkles of that character here and there. The Moxley character feels very Austin-esque to me, and I think the reason why you want to have Brodie Lee versus Moxley right now, because it kind of is like the Ministry versus Austin. You kind of get that same vibe. So him being the lone wolf and kind of going it alone, you can write that all day.
As long as Tony Khan doesn't end up saying it was me all along, I think I'm on board for that rivalry. Something I really loved was just a subtle thing when Moxley hit the ring and Brodie Lee threw his own henchman at him to slow him down. Just a great supervillain way to do things. And shout out Mikey Ruckus, the guy who makes all these amazing intro themes. I have an interview with Mikey Ruckus. I really enjoy the Dark Order statement. Feels like the boss to a video game whenever he comes out. Speaking of bosses and video games and things like that, it's time for what we call the live read. Jessica O'Connor, you're back. This is your spot. Tell them where they can find shows like ours.
This is what I do. Here we go, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here at AfterBuzz TV, for bearing with us in this time of quarantine, for staying loyal, for being the amazing fans that you are. We appreciate you, and your views are essential. You see what I did there? That's a quarantine joke. We need your views now more than ever. So don't forget to like, to subscribe, to tweet, to post, do whatever you can to keep the engagement going. We love to chat. You know our Twitters and whatever. So let's do it.
Yes, and hit the 5 stars, the likes, the comments, the shares. Thank you to everyone who's hanging out in the chat, chatting up. Charlene, Dang MQ, Haywood Wong, Flobo Boyce is hanging out as well. So if you're not watching live, that's a good cue. You should, because you get to interact with some of the other hosts in the chat sometimes as well. It's always a fun time. Flobo, by the way, someone, speaking of other shows, we chatted with the one and only Vince Russo just earlier today. So if you want to hear that interview, check that out on AfterBuzz. I'll probably say it again at the end of the show because it was a fun chat. Lots of crazy stuff. We talked about AEW a bit as well. So we call that the promo around these parts, but there was a promo today for the tag team division. It kind of caught us back up on everything that's going on with the tag team world, which I think was really good because during this whole COVID thing, obviously limited people can be at shows. Tag teams are tough to do when you can only have so many people around. So the tag team division had to take a step back. This was, I think, sort of their way of reintroducing us to the tag team division.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I had some thoughts. Can I just say that the voice actor for this promo was the worst. He was so bad. He was like in the tag team division, I don't know if that was the appeal, but it was so monotone. And I'm like, the visuals here are great, but the voice is not on par. So I'm going to have to go like this, whatever that word is, reprimand AEW, I guess, for that one, because they did not hire the best voice actor out there. That's just my tea for the day. If you guys rewatch it, I think you'll see what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. Do you think that because they were trying to make it kind of a sports thing and make it feel more sport instead of over-the-top wrestling, instead of being like the tag team division and more of the tag team division has presented,
I think there's a happy medium. He was like like an infomercial guy. Like there's got to be a middle ground between like infomercial and wrestling announcer that they could have gone with.
Like the late night CD commercials you see at 3 a.m.
For like the Snuggie and stuff. Like that was not what they needed. Like the hype did not match. I don't know. It threw me off. That's all I'm gonna say.
But see, that almost would have made sense. They should have been like, we've got the best friends. We've got the Jungle Express. But wait, there's more. We've also got the Dark Order.
Instead, he was like, it was almost like a planet Earth, like
oh dang,
in a world.
Well,
Jungle
Cedric, let me ask you, because we haven't gotten your thoughts before on this show, so I'd like to ask you now, something that AEW really prided themselves in as they got started was a bigger focus on tag team wrestling. Are you a tag team wrestling fan, or do you prefer the single stuff?
No, I'm absolutely a tag team wrestling fan. I think it's a great art that is lost. And I love that they actually are emphasizing that it's a deep division. That's the number one thing. It's a deep division and they don't stray away from it. Something that the other company we know about should kind of stick to their guns there, because they also have a lot of tag teams, but definitely a tag team guy.
So something I had teased earlier was about this feeling kind of back to normalcy. I think them showing this, I think them doubling down on bringing the tag teams back and having more people, I think this is AEW's way of saying they believe that we're getting through this and that they don't think that they're going to have to do any more taped shows or smaller audiences. That's just me kind of reading the tea leaves. I don't know anything.
Well, that's the advantage of having your headquarters in Florida. Because Florida is ignoring this pandemic as a whole, and I can
so
say
is California.
That.
Well, some parts of California.
Florida don't care.
So there was a tag team match that happened today. Best Friends versus the Jurassic Express. Probably the two biggest fan favorite teams going at it. The Best Friends, they've been on quite a run lately. Anissa, as far as the tag team match goes, what did you think about this one? Did the right team win? Walk us through it.
I mean, there was a lot going on in this match, despite the actual match happening. I hate to say this, but when Marco Stunt got thrown, I started laughing. I thought that was hilarious. But I mean, he's doing okay, I'm sure. And then Ray Phoenix, what is the deal? You totally went X-Game mode on Orange Cassidy. It's like, oh my gosh. And then of course MJF has to get involved in everyone's business. So I thought this match was good. It was nice to see Jungle Express back. We haven't seen them quite some time. But I think that Best Friends are on a roll. We see them pretty much every week. And I feel that it's possible that they could be the next AEW Tag Team Champions, because if they're putting them on every week, might as well just give them the damn titles.
Cedric, the Best Friends have been sort of holding it down for the tag team division during these taped episodes. Do you think it's fair that they get the nod to get a tag team title shot? Or do you think that, hey, sometimes you put in work and sometimes you don't get rewarded for it?
No, I'm a fan.
I think if we weren't in this situation, I think it would be a different tag team.
Agreed.
But the fact that we're obviously in this situation and we see Best Friends a lot, I think, and I feel like they have been improving and showing everyone that, hey, we want to be next, because the Young Bucks are still not there. Majority of the tag team are from SoCal, so all of them are here. They're barely showing up on AEW. So, in my opinion, I think it's Best Friends who deserve opportunity for the tag team championships.
Cedric, is Jungle Boy going to be a massive star? I couldn't help but notice that the commentary team would not stop talking about how amazing he is. Is that their way of saying, keep an eye on this guy, buy stock in Jungle Boy, he's the future?
Yeah, I agree. And I believe they said he's 22 years old. I actually think Sammy Guevara and Jungle Boy are the future of this company. Within the next 5 years, they're going to be the guys on all the billboards with the titles. They just have the charisma. They have it. And I think they're building these characters the right way. They get more interesting every single week.
Jessica, they teased a little bit here. Wardlow and Luchasaurus sort of staring each other down, looking like we might have a battle of the big men. And you know me, I like it when the two beef patties go slapping together. But I remember they teased these. I remember they teased a Jake Hager Luchasaurus rivalry that never seemed to pan out. Are we actually going to get to see Luchasaurus have a big one-on-one against another monstrosity like Wardlow?
I mean, I'm into it. They're both intimidating in their own ways, but I feel like Luchasaurus is somehow like a lovable intimidating, if that makes sense. Whereas I don't find Wardlow really redeeming at all. I don't know if it's the dinosaur mask that has won me over, but I think I'd still like him even if he didn't have a dinosaur mask. I think there's just something about him, even though we don't really ever get to hear him talk. Like, what is it? Can you guys like back me up on this? Am I crazy here? Am I a little crazy?
I think Luchasaurus is one of the most popular people in AEW right now.
Okay, so I'm not alone.
I mean, I've seen Luchasaurus.
He's more redeemable than Wardlow. I think we can agree. Come on.
Sure.
Wardlow's not redeemable at all.
I've seen Luchasaurus wrestle at local shows here in SoCal many, many times, and he's just, he's freakishly tall and a monster when he gets in the ring, especially when you see it like up close. So I think that him versus Wardlow, it's gonna be like the roof will be blown off.
I'm excited.
Cedric, something about Luchasaurus worries me, and that is, can he lose a match and still maintain that air of being a big monster? Or if he has a match with Wardlow and Wardlow puts him down, is Luchasaurus kind of done as a monster?
No, I don't think so at all, because he's the monster of his group. And I think having that foundation behind him is what kind of saves him in that light, because he's still going to be the big man in the Jurassic Express. So, no, I think if he takes the L there, if anything, he takes
L's all the time. Yeah. And we still like him.
No, he takes that. No, Marco takes the L. He's on the outside.
Oh, so it's all Marco's fault? Is that how it works in a tag team?
Poor Marco takes a lot of the heavy lifting in that sense, if that makes sense. Now, during this, we also saw a lot of Jungle Boy, MJF heat between those two guys going at it verbally and mocking each other. MJF had a match against Lee Johnson, who, but if you watch AEW Dark, Lee Johnson's been looking good. I hope they sign him. This is a quick one though, and he said MJF, he gets the win, calls out old Marco Stunt for next week, and then he's got Jungle Boy the following week. No one's put down old MJF just yet. Is one of the Jurassic Express guys going to get him?
Somebody, please. Oh my God, somebody. I don't care who. Somebody, please, because MJF is just annoying. I wish he was out longer. Too bad he doesn't have a broken leg.
I agree. I'm kind of ready for him to get knocked down a peg, and I don't really care who does it either.
They don't talk about this a lot, but I know because he has Jungle Boy at Double or Nothing later this month, I believe. Isn't MJF undefeated in 2020?
Yeah, I think he's just undefeated.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's undefeated in 2020. Why shouldn't he be the next one to challenge for Mox after this next thing? All this is over with.
He can't handle Jon Moxley.
Well, the truth is, he's not going to challenge Jon Moxley because Jon Moxley's not going to be the champion after Double or Nothing.
Okay.
Brodie Lee is going to be.
Okay, talk to me when it's not when he wins.
I have an interesting question, Jessica. This is for you. Jericho had a match. He had a match with a fella named Shug D, or Pineapple Pete, as he's become known. I just hypothetically, if you're him, do you need to change your name at this point to Pineapple Pete? I feel like everyone calls him Pineapple Pete. That's what he's known as. But do you think he should double down and hold on to the name he's worked his whole life using? Or is it time to just say, look, get in where you fit in?
Well, what I got from the promo was that Jericho called him Pineapple Pete to like be condescending. And I kind of took it as he was like reshifting that energy and like reclaiming his power and being like, hell yeah, like I am Pineapple Pete. So like I was into that because to me, it's like, okay, I have this career. People know me for another name, but like, if you want to call me that, cool. I'll embrace that. I'll own that. And well, I mean, he didn't win, but maybe one day he will win and he'll be like, yeah, I'm Pineapple Pete and I did it. Like, I think that day will come. For sure. I was into it.
I think that new shirt that Jericho was wearing, I thought was really cool. I think that's one of the subtle things. Jericho's really good at putting people down, but actually helping them, because I think that shirt is going to sell really well.
But I think that shirt was intentional too. You know, he knew he was going to be on TV. He could have worn a white collared shirt or something, but he's like, what's going to get me on camera? I think all of us on camera people know.
Literally everything Jericho touches turns into gold. Literally.
It really does. I think he's the wrestler of 2020 just because everything he hasn't just done well, but he's made every single person he's worked with look better than they did before.
He's the Yoda of pro wrestling. Let's
he needs to be in more GOAT conversations, if you ask me.
100%. And Anissa, you know a lot about different types of matches. You're an expert on the hardcore matches versus the extreme matches versus the death matches versus all sorts of stuff. You know them all inside and out. You know the difference between no holds barred and no DQ. I got to ask you, because I'm sure you know, and you're going to give us a specific answer. What is a Stadium Stampede match?
I've never heard of that, but it sounds like fun.
You stumped the expert.
That's an old WCW match.
Oh, somebody knows. Cedric knows.
I never watched.
I don't know the details, but I feel like that's an old WCW term that they're bringing back.
I think
I'm just going to go ahead and say I have no idea.
WCW did have Spring Stampede, and I think they had some kind of. I think they're playing off something. I don't. You might be right. I don't know, but very interesting. They did mention that they're going to be in an 80,000 seat football field. So I'm wondering, and I'm hoping that maybe this is one of those cinematic matches the WWE has been doing. I think that would be really fun to see AEW's take on one of those.
Yeah, I thought the same thing too. I think that they're just going to start in the field with no ring and then just go crazy around the whole football field. But I do want to add, I hope with Pineapple Pete, I hope we get to see him versus Orange Cassidy, or him and Pineapple Pete and Orange Cassidy.
Pineapple versus Orange.
Yeah.
The brand
they want to see him
that.
Or we can make an alcoholic drink. Pineapple and oranges.
Oh, let's start working on that now.
Look, ideas.
Does AfterBuzz allow cocktails?
They gotta just if they start a team with Hangman, that's set. Them and Private Party will all be able to get together. So Jericho murdered Vanguard 1. I think it's fair to say it was a sentient drone, so he murdered the poor thing. This was fun. I thought it was a fun little interaction. Something that stood out to me is Jericho had a baseball bat, and rumors have been circulating. They've been flying around. A fella by the name of Sting's contract with the WWE is apparently up. I feel like that baseball bat, which is a signature of the Stinger, wasn't on accident. Jericho doesn't do things on accident. Cedric, you talked about WCW a second ago. Do you think we might see Sting in an AEW ring or around one?
Well, they have all the other legends floating around. I don't think we'll see him wrestle at all. But if he makes an appearance, he's been teasing it on Twitter lately. He's been interacting with Lance Archer on Twitter. Cody Rhodes did his infamous ear meme to Sting. So I wouldn't doubt that they have something in the works for a couple of one-off appearances here or there. But as far as wrestling, nah, I don't even think I want to see that either.
I blame that guy named Seth
Tyler Black?
Yeah. That guy sucks.
Yeah, so I'm a huge Sting fan, so I would love him to be involved in any way, shape, or form. But that leads me to a fella by the name of Darby Allin. Darby Allin chatting it up, cutting it up with Tazz backstage. And I got to tell you, Jessica, these two do not get along together very well. I feel like their personalities just clash. Tazz is trying to be nice, trying to help him, trying to teach him and educate him a little bit. And the last thing Darby Allin wants is that. Now, you mentioned Sting. Darby's been compared to Sting a lot. Do you think maybe Sting would be a good manager for a Darby Allin, or Tazz be a manager for Darby Allin? What do we think's going on there?
I don't think Darby Allin is the kind of wrestler that needs a manager. That kind of goes against his whole character. His whole thing is like, I'm this badass skater boy. Like, he kind of has this like F authority vibe about him. So I feel like if he had a manager, it just wouldn't work at all. I don't think it matters who it is. That's just not, it's not on brand, as we say. It wouldn't
Anissa,
work.
do you think that Tazz is gonna end up feuding with Darby? It doesn't seem like they're getting along.
You actually read my mind. I was going to mention that. Yes, I do, because do we know if Tazz is actually officially retired? Did he ever make a statement?
I don't think he can wrestle. I think his neck is done,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
But then again, you never retire in wrestling unless you physically injured to the point where you really, really can't. But if Tazz is able to wrestle, I would like to see a match between him and Darby. Last time I saw Tazz wrestle was ECW when I stand 2006. That's the last time I saw Tazz ever wrestle. So I would love to see him wrestle again. And with Darby Allin, I feel like they were pushing him to be like the star AEW champion, and now he's back in the bottom. And I don't, as a Darby Allin fan, I wish they didn't do that, but I hope he gets the chance to win for Double or Nothing.
Cedric, something you got to know about me. I love legends returning. I don't care if they're 170 years old. I want to see them. I am a fan. They make me feel good. See my childhood heroes. Am I crazy for hoping that Sting's got one more match in him so him and Darby Allin can go at it and he can help make Darby Allin a bigger star?
Oh, so are you insinuating that Darby Allin will go over?
Yeah. You got to build the future. You got to build the future.
But you have to remember, Darby Allin is a fast wrestler. So, and
Sting, he cheers and he feeds off the crowd. I think he'll be just fine.
I'm not knocking down Sting. He's a legend.
I don't know if you sign Sting, you bring him in to put somebody over. That's my only issue with that.
Yeah.
I think he would just be more of an attraction. But you know, Triple H always takes his WrestleMania wins from whoever.
Right. To be fair, if I was Triple H, I would do the same thing. Now, Jessica, let me ask you this. We heard a little bit of Darby Allin talk tonight. I think he said maybe 3 sentences his entire run in AEW.
Yeah.
Do we like how he sounds on a mic? Can he get through a career without talking, or is he going to have to figure out a way to use a microphone?
I think he's going to have to figure out a way to use the microphone. I mean, he does a lot of really good nonverbal communication. He has a certain walk, he has a certain look on his face. His wardrobe does a lot of talking, his skateboard does a lot of talking. There's a lot of his image that doesn't require words, but I don't think that him improving on the skill can hurt him in any way. I really don't.
Yeah, agreed. Something that has improved, I think, and is when AEW started, there was a similar complaint amongst a lot of people, and that was that the women's division needed more. It needed improvement. It needed other wrestlers. I'm starting to feel like that is an out-of-date complaint, because tonight we got a 4-way women's match with Penelope Ford, Chris Statlander, Hikaru Shida, and Britt Baker that I thought was amazing. Anissa, am I crazy? Was that not a great match?
I thought it was slow, but every woman hit their points, but some didn't hit their points. When it comes to fatal 4s like that, I'm very picky because there's so much going on. And I feel like, in my opinion, I feel that the camera people really need to focus.
I was going to say the same thing.
Need to practice a little bit more. I know they're more used to baseball, basketball, that type of sport, not with wrestling. But I think that, in my opinion, the reason why I thought it was a slow match was because the camera angles weren't really on point. But I did really enjoy Britt Baker attacking Chris Statlander and using the glove and still attacking her mouth. So I feel like we're going to see a feud right there between them two.
someone who's really started to climb the ranks, in my opinion, maybe not in the win-loss column as much as she'd like, but Penelope Ford is cool. I like Penelope Ford. Jessica, I think we all know Sheeta's great. We all know that Britt Baker has done an amazing job with her character recently, and people are split on old Chris Statlander and her alien thing. But I will say Penelope Ford just seems like such a cool person to have on a roster. Are you feeling Penelope Ford?
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling her. I think she's talented. Like, she's fun to watch. She incorporated a lot of like tumbling and gymnastics, which I could appreciate because that's kind of my background. And I was like, okay, she has like some good form. I feel like that's probably her background too. I'd like to look that up. I'd like for someone to fact check me on that, maybe in the chat. I don't know. Does somebody know her background? Because I would be interested to know. But I also like that obviously she has that Kip Sabian romance fiance, and they play on it a little bit, like they had that makeout moment and that was like fun and silly, but it's not like a crutch. It's not like they're a package deal. I feel like they can thrive in their own lanes, and I'm here for it. They're cute. I like them.
Cedric, I want to ask your opinion on something. During this match, and a few of the matches had similar things like this happen, but tonight, but Kip Sabian held Sheeta in the ropes. Now, Stickler Jack Farmer's watching this going, that's a disqualification. What's going on? Do you see stuff like that and you get hung up on that kind of stuff and like, whoa, you're not allowed to do that. You got to throw him out or do something. Or do you say, you know what? It's wrestling. It's fun. Who cares? It did its purpose.
No, I'm a stickler for that stuff too, man. It did bother me because the match, well, I guess in Fatal 4-Ways, there's usually no disqualification anyway. But I know I was watching Raw the other day and something happened where Mysterio, and then the internet blew up with this unspoken rule that I never heard of as far as tag team disqualifications. But yeah, I usually pick those things out. I'm like, am I supposed to suspend my beliefs that much? But I try to enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And by the way, I didn't get the tag team disqualification either. That was weird to me. But yeah, so it looks like we're getting Sheeta versus Nyla Rose for the women's title. That's going to be a banger.
Yep, I predict Awesome Kong will show up. I'm still on that. I'm still on that.
Haven't seen her in a while.
So that match was declared a no DQ. We're going to jump. That is a little bit of a prediction, Anissa, but since you threw it out there, because no DQ, that means even if she gets involved, the match isn't over. Who wins? Do you think that she's going to help Nyla Rose, or do you think they're setting up a battle of the beasts?
I still think that they're going to set the Battle of the Beast.
Battle of the Beast.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Interesting.
That sounds fun.
Interesting. Another interesting thing that happened today is we had Proud and Powerful versus Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy is just as entertaining as we all thought he was going to be. At least I think so. Is it weird, though, that the team that lost against the Inner Circle last week is just having another match with different pair of Inner Circle members this week? Jessica, I'll throw that one to you.
Well, I'm just not behind the Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy pairing. I don't get it at all. I don't think they have because I mean, the whole thing about tag teams is they're supposed to be so in sync that they know each other's next moves and they're best friends and they're things like this. They're supposed to be so cohesive, and they just don't mesh at all to me. Their vibes are all over the place, and I don't know. I think they're great individually, but I'm not really behind this tag team pairing. I think they could do better.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think I get what's happening there, but it is kind of a weird team just on paper. Something that happened though, one of my favorite moments, Sammy Guevara comes stumbling out with a neck brace on. Anissa, you alluded to it before. Is Sammy Guevara silently becoming one of the most entertaining parts of AEW Dynamite?
I mean, I think so. I personally like his vlogs. I like how he does the backstage stuff, him and, his relationship with Marco Stunt. But, it's just entertaining. I find him really entertaining. He's definitely learning a lot from Chris Jericho when it comes to, little things here and there. But, I thought it was great.
So, Cedric, the story with the tag team champions was that they weren't getting along. Hangman felt a little left out, like he wasn't really a part of the team. Lo and behold, this COVID thing hits, and suddenly Kenny Omega just finds a new buddy to start teaming with. I'm looking at this thinking Hangman's not going to be too happy that his tag team partner's palling around with a guy who can't keep his own name straight. What do you think is going to happen once Hangman comes back?
I think they were teeing up the dissension way before all the COVID stuff started. So, I mean, the writing was on the wall for Hangman Page to either turn on Omega or turn on the Elite one way or another. I think it's just kind of weird how we got Matt Hardy to be the guy in this position right here. That
got my
in.
back. Thanks, Cedric.
But one thing that does bother me, and if you guys can educate me, if people in chat can educate me, I don't get broken Matt Hardy. Like, I don't understand why people are entertained by broken Matt Hardy. I want to know. I want to understand. I'm willing to learn.
Yeah. So Anissa, you said, "Oh no." What do you have to say about broken Matt Hardy? Damascus.
You just have to go on YouTube and do some research.
No. This is YouTube. This is YouTube.
No. It's a long story.
You're not up. But like, what's the tweet version? Is there a tweet version of broken Matt Hardy?
No, because it's a long story.
I look at old Matt Hardy and I say to myself, is this guy drunk or crazy? I think
he bit a man's boot and his gum started bleeding tonight. And it's like...
like, does he floss? We must know.
To me...
Britt Baker needs to check on that.
In my opinion, version 2.0 Matt Hardy was still the best one. And I'm standing by it.
Ooh, hot take. I like the hot takes. I think to me what I like about broken Matt Hardy is, like I said, it's kind of like watching a crazy person. It's more about like what weird thing is he going to do next, and that's what I like about him, because he's just unpredictable and weird and kind of kooky. I don't know how far that will go though. I don't know if I could see him as a world champion doing that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how it plays out. I think with the tag teaming, and I'm just guessing here, I think because things went the way they did, I think they wanted to have a rivalry with him and Jericho, but then they pulled back because they didn't want to give it away without the crowd. It's just my guess, but I don't know. They don't have me on the booking committee. If they want to, they can hit me up. You know what I mean?
I'm available.
I'd be happy to chat. My phone's available. So we also had a quick little run-in, a quick little fisticuff. Lance Archer, Jake the Snake, Cedric, you teased it was kind of cringy at points. I gotta agree, it was a little cringy, but for some reason when the bad guy's cringy, I feel like it's okay. How are you feeling, Jessica, about this rivalry between Lance Archer and Cody and where it's going?
Okay, I feel like I'm being a little negative tonight, and I don't mean to, because I actually really liked this whole episode, but there was just a few things about like every moment that I was like, oh, so I'm gonna point it out, because whatever, I'm gonna be the bad guy tonight. I'm heel Jessica. So there was Cody came riding in, and it was like the most anticlimactic, like boom, he like touched a little fence. He's like, beep. Like, if you're gonna come in on an F-150, I want to see you go airborne and like land. Like, I don't know, the entrance didn't do it for me, and I feel like their whole moment kind of just got lost. It happened in the beginning and they never really checked back in on it. So it was lost on me. Sorry guys. Yeah. I don't mean to be negative. I'm usually not like this.
No, I agree with you on that.
Keeping it real.
Yeah, Cedric, take it away, because we've seen Stone Cold do stuff like that where he would run right through things multiple times. Cody seemed a little hesitant, right?
It was timid. It looked like he just kicked over a sandcastle. It was like very mild. It's like, I'm going to rev up and then I'm going to brake just before I hit the guardrail. And then I hopped out and there was some missed spots there.
He's like, it's a rental.
And then they were kind of teasing him attacking Jake the Snake, which never happened. And then then when they separated, it was kind of weird. It's like, oh, I'm going to go with, no, let's stop. And let's just walk away. It felt like they missed a moment in the middle of, or at the end of the fight.
Moment
yeah,
missed.
the whole thing felt like they just couldn't get the timing right. And
what was with Jake the Snake Roberts, like the comment on women, like what was that all about?
Oh, I missed that. What did he say?
He just said typical heel women should be in the kitchen cooking for their men, that type of stuff. I'm surprised I'm surprised Nyla Rose didn't go out and kick his ass, because she was right there in the audience.
Well, I think that's just him. I think that's just the old school side of Jake the Snake, trying to get some reaction from people, and because that's a very old school way of doing it, I think. But we're running low on time, and when we're running low on time, this is the last segment of the night, folks. And the last segment of the night is what we call Elite of the Week. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Elite of the Week, where I count down my top 5 wrestlers on AEW Dynamite of the week. Starting at number 5, we got Sammy Guevara. Sammy didn't have a match tonight per se, but this guy just entertains the hell out of me. Every time he's on TV, he's getting run over by cars or wearing neck braces and really being a part of bringing entertainment to the show. Sammy Guevara, match or not, you get a spot on the list. Next up, Hikaru Shida at number 4 in a very crowded women's division tonight. She separated herself from the pack to become the number 1 contender, and of course ended up with a cane to the face. But it is worth it, because you're going to Double or Nothing, Shida. And at number 3, we've got Broken Matt Hardy. Whether or not we get it, I love it. It's entertaining. It's crazy. It's wild. Like I said, I always ask myself, is he drunk or is he crazy? Because I can't tell the difference with this guy. And at number 2, it's the leader of the Dark Order, Brodie Lee. He came around for a cup of coffee and said, I'm the number 1 contender because I'm Mr. Brodie Lee and I run the Dark Order and I am the Lion of AEW. And at number 1, we have Le Champion, Chris Jericho. He finally put away his arch rival after a career of building to it. He beat Pineapple Pete tonight, sealed the deal, but he also killed Vanguard 1. He also set the stage for the Stampede match. He's pulling the strings, folks, because he is the leader of the Inner Circle. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your Elite of the week. How'd you feel about that one? That was a good one, right? Everything's in line. Everything's perfect.
Chris Jericho, number 1. This is groundbreaking.
It's
never happened before.
So that's it for us. But before we go, obviously, we want everyone to go ahead and let everyone else know where we can find you online. Jessica, let's start with you. Where can they find you at?
You can find me on Instagram at Jessica O'Connor _, on Twitter, J O'Connor with 3 N's.
And Cedric, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at says, that's CEDD_says, and on Instagram at saidistheanswer.
And Anissa Barr.
You can follow me on all social media at Anissa Barr.
And Rye Guy in the booth, where can they find you at?
Find me at Ryan Nilsen, RYNILSEN, Ryan Nilsen on Instagram, and Star Wars News every Thursday, 4 p.m. on the Popcorn Talk Network. How about you, Jack?
You can find me at jackcfarmer.com, as well as at Real Jack Farmer across all social media. You can also check me out every Monday on the WWE Raw After Show, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on AfterBuzz TV, as well as Jack and Flobo Wrestle with Your Questions every Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But today, the big fun announcement, I got to interview the one and only Vince Russo. We had about an hour-long chat about things from his time starting in wrestling to wrestling during the COVID-19 to his vinyl collection. We chatted about all sorts of things. It's on AfterBuzz TV. Do yourself a favor and check it out. But in the meantime, until next week, folks, do your best and be yourself.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.